How's it going today, everyone? I am back with yet another Inventor tutorial, and I am going to tell you today how to take a VEX battery and some VEX brain clips and put them together and put them onto a VEX robot. So let's jump right on in. To do this, you're going to need to know how these parts fit together and how these faces touch one another. Second, you're going to have to know how to use multiple different kinds of constraints, including face, including mates, including flushes, and tangent constraints. So, without further ado, let's get in there. When I put a battery onto a bot, I always start with the battery clips because there's not a whole lot of good geometry to grab on this battery besides how these little notches fit with those guys there. So let's do that. Let's start by getting our first battery clip on there. To do that, I'm just going to constrain it vertically. This is very similar to attaching a brain mounting flange. I'm going to grab that face, and then I'm going to select the bottom face, kind of find it right in there, of my battery clip there. Right, just like that. Now, I kind of want my battery to kind of sit off like that. That way it doesn't contact the brain there. So I'm going to kind of move it right on in place there. Trying to save some space here and move it right on in place. Next, like we did with the battery flange, or with the brain flange, we're going to use a flush constraint. So I did a mate, and now I'm going to do a flush. And that flush is going to grab this flat face here, and that face of the metal, and attach those together there. Now I can only slide side to side. So we're doing good. Let's get our next piece, our next constraint put on there. This is also going to be a tangent constraint. I'm going to take this hole and make it tangent with that side of the square opening in my C channel, or in my metal there. Place a constraint, change that constraint, change the type to a tangent constraint, and then to make this circle tangent to that edge right there. And that's it. Let's review that process and put this one on. Again, when I start, I'm just going to mate these together here. You make a constraint to get to this top and this bottom, attached to one another. Great. Now let's find where this has to go on here. So I know that these need to be 8 spaces apart. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This has to go right there. Yep. Let's get our flush constraint put on there. Open up our constraint panel. Change it to a flush. Mate that to that. Apply. Excellent. Now let's constrain these together using a tangent constraint here. Constrain. Change it to tangent. Change it to tangent first, always. Take that circle. Make it tangent to that face there. Apply. Great. Now we're stuck on. We got 2 pieces that are stuck together right there. So we had our battery clips on there. And that was a remarkably fast process when you know what to do, how to save some time, and what constraints you put on. So in review, I did a mate to get those flat on that face. I did a flush to line them up with the square in the C channel, and then I did a tangent to get that circle lined up with where it had to go. Let's get our battery put onto these here. Now, this is a tricky procedure. The reason why is because it is hard to see what's going on. Additionally, we can only use so many of these faces. Let me show you why. If I get a side view here, and I look at this notch, right there you can see the top of that notch is slanted. So I have to use this side, the opposite side right over there, and then this bottom face. I cannot use that top face, otherwise my whole battery will kind of flip to the side. Let's get this lined up. What's nice about this is we're going to use entirely mate constraints. So let's get it lined up this way first and foremost. I'm going to grab the inside of this little pocket there, right? The inside, I'm going to place that. I'm going to constrain that with a mate right there. Apply. So now we're stuck. Now we're stuck right there. That's how we want to be. Great. Let's kind of pull ourselves off there. And this is going to be kind of weird at first. I just kind of yank it, and it's going to kind of go where it's going to go. But that's okay. Let's stop it from moving in this direction. I'm going to constrain this side here. Flip around. I'm going to try to find that same side right in there. You can see how this is that face we grabbed before. This is what we want to grab now. Notice I'm not grabbing any lines. I am grabbing faces. Stick that on there. Apply. Now all that's left is to stop it from moving up and down. Now you can really do these in just about any order. Now this is where it gets hard to see again. I can kind of come down like this. You can see there's stuff in the way there. I'm going to kind of move my mouse till I can barely see what's going on there. See how tricky this is. When in doubt, grab your orbit. There we go. Good. I want to see just the bare bottom of that. I'm going to grab a constraint, open my constraint panel. Make sure it's on a mate. Take that bottom. Mate it with that one. Apply. Good. Now you see we're stuck on there. That was tricky. That was really tricky. And the tricky part wasn't really selecting the geometry. The tricky part was navigating to where I could see it. So I used, whenever possible, I click these corners of the view cube to move around. But when I have to fine tune it, you can grab that view cube. You also saw me grab on my navigation pane here. You grab my navigation wheel to turn and do with my orbit tool like that. So always an option there. So that's what I got. That's how you attach a brain, or how you attach a battery. I first attached 2 battery clips, and then I attached the battery itself to the clips, so I could use those for geometry. As always, let me know if you have any questions, and I will reach out and help you out. And as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day.